All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining again. Having a little technical problems, but hopefully things will go a little bit smoother this time. If I freeze in a position, hopefully it's not when I'm have such a weird looking face on myself there. That was kind of funny. The funny thing is I could hear everything. I could hear you guys talking. I could see it. I could see me frozen, everything, but it was weird. So still letting people in right now, but I just quickly go over what we're going to go over today. And I just want to kind of give a brief history, how this group came to be. Really want to talk about the rules again and why they're so important. And, dig into the lines of sponsorship, go over that just a little bit more, just make sure everybody's clear. And then we'll touch base on, what is the ideal business criteria? What are we looking for here? How do we choose these? How do we vet them? Maybe touch on the current opportunities, and I probably won't say any names. I'll just kind of give an idea of some of the things that we've looked at. And I really want to dig into how everybody benefits. That's really the critical part here. The person that starts today, what's in it for them, and how can they benefit from this group? And everybody has the opportunity to share opportunities that maybe they're already in that they truly believe in. So I'm definitely going to talk about how anybody can do that, and then we'll just really do a Q&A after that. So let's get going. So I think everybody on this call, well, most people on this call know my story. Maybe not everybody. I've just ever since I was probably about 20 years old, I've always been looking for ways to create passive income streams. Like always, I got into the stock market when I was in the 20s, got into real estate when I was, I think, 20s or 30s, got into network marketing, I got into Bitcoin, just always looking for something, right? And I kind of, you know, it was just more about having more than one source of income. When I was working a job, I wanted to have something else just in case I lost my job, right? And and really wanting financial freedom, but I probably didn't even understand what financial freedom was back when I started this journey, right? And obviously, most people here understand the story of the business that we were just in that has been taking a long time paying. And it's so ironic that all my life I was looking at having multiple sources of income, and I found myself in the same trap that I was relying on one source of income, and that source of income has literally been shut off. And it's not a good position to be in for anybody. So this idea of putting together this Financial Mastery Alliance group, I really, it came into my mind probably in January, right around Christmas, New Year's. And I reached out to a couple people in late January, early February, and I kind of bounced the idea off of them, and they were very receptive to it. They thought it was a great idea. And but I was going to Thailand, so I didn't really want to get anything started. And I was gone to Thailand for 6 weeks. So when I got back March 21st, it was almost the next day that I was reaching out and saying, "Hey, we got to get something going." And I really reached out to everybody and said, "Let's get on a Zoom call so I can kind of share this vision that I'm thinking of, and see if you guys think this is a good idea," basically, right? And really that vision was exactly what we have here. We've got this Financial Mastery Alliance group, which unlike most other groups, it's one person, you know, looking at all these different opportunities and sharing all these different opportunities, and they're really plastering their referral links everywhere because everybody they bring into the group is going to be on their team, so to speak, right? And they don't really, maybe on purpose, maybe not on purpose, but they don't really help anybody else that joins their team necessarily. They're just kind of building their own empire without really helping others build their empire. So this group, the whole idea behind it is, let's get everybody in there, but we're not going to share referral links. We're going to honor lines of sponsorship. We're going to help each other where everybody can win from this group, opposed to just the one person that invites everybody in, so to speak, right? So that really digs into the rules and why these rules are so important, of the no referral links and the no cross recruiting. and honoring those lines of sponsorship is, you know, if I was just bringing people into my own group that I was plastering my referral links everywhere, you know, that group might get up to 100 people at the most ever. And that's about as big as it would grow, you know, but there's what, 20, 17, 18 people on this call right now. If every single one of us went out and invited 3 people, you know, it's exponential growth, right? And if those people coming in invite people, it's just more exponential growth. We could take this group up to 1,000 people in no time, in all reality, right? And but for that to happen, everybody needs to know that they can bring in somebody into this group as their prospect potentially that is going to remain their prospect. You know, if that guy decides he wants to sign up for one opportunity that we share, awesome. If he wants to sign up for 2 opportunities, awesome. It doesn't matter, but it's always following the person that came with, right? So if Jim invites Joe, anytime Joe gets into a business, it's always with Jim's referral link. It's always under Jim. It's always honoring those lines of sponsorship. And when that trust is built, that you know you can bring guys into this team and nobody's going to steal them. Nobody's going to be sending them messages and sending them referral links and trying to steal them, so to speak. That's the success of this business, this group, I should say. And if we don't adhere to those rules, that is definitely the failure of this group, and it'll die on the vine very fast, right? Because nobody will bring anybody in. So if we want success, that is the number one most important, well, 2 rules really that we need to adhere to, and we have to honor those rules, right? So that's why I really drive it home.
Yes, there. I'm on my webinar.
Oh,
the Zoom.
Mute here. Yeah, so that's really understanding that part of the rules. Now, the only other couple of rules that I maybe want to just lay out, nothing too major here, but you know, this is a group where we're really trying to help each other, right? Everybody's helping everybody. Everybody's on the same team. You know, let's keep things positive. Let's keep things civil at all times. Let's not, you know, start doing any name calling or, you know, or start putting things in here that we really shouldn't, that are gonna, you know, put a rift into the group. We want to keep this thing always positive. If you have questions, always, the first question should go to your direct sponsor, okay? And if your direct sponsor cannot answer that question, then by all means, let's bring it into the group. But we don't want this to just be a, you know, constantly asking questions in this group that we have to answer over and over again 1,000,000 times, right? We've seen that in other groups and it just doesn't work. You know, people start to get frustrated on both sides. And the most important thing is this group is not CFX. So it has nothing to do with it. Don't mention it. We're not talking about here in this meeting, anything like that. We do have a group for that already. Let's keep that conversation in that group, right? That's all I wanted to really say on that. So, you know, understanding the lines of sponsorship. So the funny thing is on this registration, I put a question on there of who invited you to the Zoom. And the idea in my head was that basically put your sponsor in there so that we always kind of are knowing who your sponsor is. The answers I got were quite funny because most people saw the Zoom from me. So 90% of the people put my name. Some people put their own name. Some people, you know what I mean? I think there was only about 4 people that actually put their sponsor's name. So that's something I'm going to have to work on. You know, when we do registrations for future Zoom meetings, I really want it to be clear, especially when new people come in, you know, who invited you to the group? Who is your sponsor? Just in case it's somebody that is not in the group that sees these Zooms, we want to be able to understand who their sponsor is. And when you're inviting somebody into the group, Tina, you've been inviting a lot of people in the last little bit, new people that weren't involved with CFX, and that's awesome. And what we need to do is just be very clear that, you know, maybe the first thing we say is, as soon as you come in the group, say hi and just let them know that I invited you in, or something as simple as that, right? Just so we can always have that out in front and I can track information. Okay.
Sorry to interrupt, just because we're on the topic.
Yep.
What was the right answer to that question? Like, who is our sponsor? Because this is not CFX. We're not bringing over CFX sponsorship, correct? So
that's correct. Yeah.
You're the one that in my mind, that's still the right answer for most of us because you're the one that set it up. So I'm just curious where you would like that answer to be right now.
Yeah.
I get if we bring somebody in, I'm their sponsor, but who's my sponsor today?
Yeah, great question. Great question. I'm glad you asked it actually, because now I can go into a little bit more depth on that. So basically, if you're bringing someone into the group, this is simple, right? It's that person you bring into the group, that is now that line of sponsorship. Easy. At the very beginning of this group, I shared it to my CFX team group. And because it was shared in that team group, it wasn't intended that everybody joins under me. It is you are joining under your current line of sponsorship in CFX or P2C. So in your case, Robin Handwriter, I do believe. Correct?
Yeah, Robin. I can't remember which order they're in, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly my question because I never even talked to them, to be honest. I don't see them here. So are we still following CFX sponsorship initially? Is that kind of your intention? But I guess that's actually part of my question.
Yeah. So because it was shared in that group, anybody that kind of comes from that group follows that line of sponsorship, I think is the easiest way to say it, right? Because that was shared in kind of an open forum. And I don't want people to think because I shared it, everybody comes under me, because I don't want that. I only want people that were already directly under me in CFX to be directly referred by me here, if that makes sense, right? So now your line of sponsorship in your case, Rob is in the group for sure. Robin probably won't. I imagine they will just kind of go into one business here. So yeah, your line of sponsorship will definitely be Rob. Rob will still be Danny. He joined under Danny Mallon. And so I do believe I have sent Danny the information on this. He hasn't joined yet, I don't believe, but he was asking about the recording already. So I know that he is planning on coming in. So that's kind of, when we started this, the whole idea was, if you're coming in, reach out to your sponsor, maybe reach out to people that you've invited into CFX, and kind of let's bring that initial group in. And then once we get going, now it's kind of more of an opening of, okay, if I bring somebody in, that's that new line of sponsor. That's a fresh line of sponsorship. I hope that makes sense to everybody. I hope it is a little bit tricky. We do have other businesses also. And as we have other businesses start, those lines of sponsorship might be skewed a little bit, but not drastically. It's still about following, if you decide to sign up for anything, Mike and Deb, you should always be reaching out to Rob and just kind of saying, hey, Rob, I really like this opportunity. I want to sign up for this one. You are my line of sponsorship. I want to sign up under you. And if he says, hey, I don't have interest in this business, then you kind of say, okay, well, then I'll go to your next sponsor. Who is that type of thing, right? And you'd work your way up until you basically got all the way to, potentially myself, right? And if everybody said no, then you would sign up under me. But if somebody says yes along the way, then perfect. Now they go to their sponsor and they all the way up. And Rob's you and Rob are a great example, because that is a very deep line. You're probably about 8 levels deep on my CFX team, right? So there's a lot of lines of sponsorship along that way.
That's perfect. That's exactly what I was asking. And
Okay. Perfect. Awesome.
I'm not sure from Carol, but I think you answered her question, because I had the same question as what if they don't come in?
Yeah. Okay, great. I'm glad that clarified some things.
So if I can just ask a question there. So if if I bring somebody into this group and they will be under me, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so it's kind of it'll be a little bit unfair, because if you guys are all CFX, you're probably all under me.
Yeah.
And haven't dealt with, like Tina, for instance, I haven't really dealt with Tina. Right? She's got her own team and everything, right?
So your situation is just a little bit different, Chris, because so in your situation now, if you took that video that I made, kind of a call to action to come join the FMA group,
Yeah.
If you put that in your chat, in your global chat with Dano and all that, and people started flocking in, then we would use the lines of sponsorship from CFX, because all of those people are kind of coming in from one video being sent out, right?
Yeah.
But if you send a video out to one person, Jason Carrier, for example, and Jason Carrier joins, well, he's joining under you because you're the one that invited him.
Yeah.
Right. So it's only because I sent it to a group in kind of more of a mass thing that we kind of say, hey, that doesn't mean everyone's joining under me. That means everybody's going under their lines of sponsorship. And the good thing about that is it helps to grow the group a little bit, right? Because if somebody does come in that's, 6, 7, 8 levels deep, they're going to reach out to the person above and the person above and the person above and just kind of say, hey, I'm getting into this. This could be beneficial for you. You should get in too, right?
If they're a member of this group.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
have thousands of people in my CFX, right? Which if you guys are in CFX, you're probably all under me. That wouldn't be fair if Tina wanted to bring one of her people in and she goes to you and you say you're not in, and then she would go to me. And if I was in, then she would be my.
And it's all about a conversation. It's really all about a
I think
conversation.
as long as we're fair about it, like I'm not trying, obviously I'm not trying to be greedy, right? I'm just.
And it really is all about a conversation, because if you go to that person and that person says, hey, I don't have interest in that opportunity at all, please just go to the person above,
Right.
or they'll say, oh, well, you know what, I think I will do it. I wasn't going to do it, but now that you're doing it, it kind of gives me the motivation. I'm going to do it also, right? And it's good both ways, right? But
Right.
it's a conversation that everybody agrees on, and that's really the true way of
I think a
upsetting
lot of it,
people.
I think a lot of it is just integrity, right?
It's
And-
all integrity. It's
And
all
if you
integrity.
don't have the integrity, then this is really the wrong group for you to be in,
Yeah, 100%.
right?
Great way of putting it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Now,
All
does
right.
that conversation, as far as the lineage, pertains to CFX members, but then, which everyone in here, they've joined either under you or me or Russ or whoever, right? But now, if we have an opportunity that's presented to us from someone outside of CFX, explain that, Ryan.
Yeah. So, okay, let's just say that Tina brings in somebody, that person shares an opportunity, and we vet that opportunity and we go, hey, that is a great one to add to the portfolio, we'll call it. So that person is already in it. So Tina, because she brought that person in, Tina would be the first one to sign up. Then Tina sponsor would be the next one to sign up, which in this case would be Courtney Hunt. And then Courtney Hunt would be, after she signs up, she would take it to me, who I sponsored Courtney. You know what I mean? And then people that were under Courtney would go under Courtney. People that were under me would go under me. You know what I mean? It would all just kind of fall into where everybody is. So that's almost working in reverse when a new opportunity comes on board. Now, one of the things we're going to have to discuss, and this is going to be a tricky one, is if 3 people come in with the same opportunity. How do we choose which one if we decided that is one? Because it's hard for everybody to benefit. So that's going to have to be as it happens, we're going to have to figure out if that happens anyways. We actually kind of have that in Agic, because Becky is a different line of sponsorship than me. Tina, you are my sponsor. You know what I mean? It's if we start building that as one of our things, there's places where some people will benefit, some people won't benefit, but that's okay. That's okay to have that, I think, too. So we're still going to be a united team regardless, and we can still help each other regardless.
Right. So I don't have anybody above me. So if Tina brings something in and then one of her people below her sign up, I would sign up. I can choose to sign up under Tina or whoever, right?
No. You truthfully fall under me because I'm the one that invited you to this group, right?
Okay. Yeah.
You didn't join from a mass email that was, sent to 100 different people.
Right. I just try to be fair.
Yeah.
And the reason is I have that program that's coming in 6 weeks, right? So.
Yeah. And
Okay.
and obviously, if you end up doing that one, yes, I'll be signing, or you'll be signing up first, and I would be signing up under you, and then we would follow the lines of sponsorship from that are already in place. So that would be that one's actually a pretty easy one. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I have a question. So was Courtney in on that mass thing that you introduced?
She's
Remember
part of the leadership team, even though she hasn't really had the opportunity to be too involved in the last little bit because she's been so busy. But she is part of we have a little bit of a leadership group where we discuss some of these different things.
Okay,
and she
so
was on
she
the
still
first
would be, she would still be my sponsor then.
100%. Yeah,
And
100%.
then she's under you in this
Yes.
group. Okay. Okay,
Correct.
thank you.
So here's another scenario, Ryan. If I know somebody named Bonnie, for instance, who's not in this group, okay, and she presents an opportunity to me, should I just join it with Bonnie and then bring it to the group, or should I bring it to the group and then how does that work?
Well, at the end of the day, it's still possible that it might we might vet that and say it's not one that we want, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to join because you want to join no matter what, then go ahead and join no matter what, right? Like people can still join other opportunities outside this group. That doesn't matter, right? This is more of, we're trying to work together to find, certain ones. And to be very clear, if we have a couple of great Forex ones, we're not going to be looking for a third Forex one or a fourth Forex one or a fifth. You know what I mean? We don't want that. We kind of want the best of each niche, so to speak. We want to diversify. We want to have different things so that if something happens to an industry, it won't affect us. And Forex, Bitcoin, things like that tend to be a lot higher risk, than maybe a product-based business. Product-based businesses take a lot longer to build usually and a lot harder to build, so the risk reward is something that you got to look at. So there's a lot of criteria that really goes into choosing these, these ideal businesses, so to speak, right? And that's, funny that was brought up because that's really where I wanted to go to next, right? So, did I answer your question first before we go on, Tina?
I was thinking that we had some structure where if I heard of an opportunity or anyone heard of an opportunity out from someone outside the group and then we just I guess the best way would be to go ahead and join it and then present it to the group or present it to the group for consideration. And then if the group says, yes, we are going to do that, then would I be the first one to join under Bonnie or would I have to send it to my upline first? Was there something?
Well, yeah,
if I can make a comment there, because it's not in the group and Tina, you're bringing it to the group, you're first, right? Now,
I'm sorry, I'm what?
You would be first. You're bringing
okay.
it to the group. So this is your program if nobody else has brought it to the group. So if I wanted to sign up, I would have to go to Ryan and say, Ryan, are you going to sign up under Tina?
Yeah.
And then I would sign up under Ryan. And
Yeah.
then whoever wanted to come, do you follow what I'm saying? So so we don't want to just have you bring a thing in and then you bring it in, present it, but you got to go 5 levels deep to wait for all these people above you to join. Am I correct in saying that, Ryan?
You're 100% correct, and we really want everybody to benefit, right? And you're right. If somebody brings in an opportunity, that's awesome. They should be the one to benefit the most, right?
Right. They would be first.
But it's all just like you kind of said earlier. It's the integrity of making sure we follow the lines of sponsorship after that, so to speak, right? And like I said, it's probably a little bit better to kind of reverse the order until you kind of get back to the top and then kind of go back down, so to speak. You know what I mean? So in that case, you join, you give Courtney the option, Courtney gives me the option type of thing. And then, so to speak, right? So, but like I said, you can join that option or that opportunity if it doesn't get chosen, it doesn't get chosen, I guess, right? But you can still be in that opportunity. And we are going to talk about that a little bit further down, that there are other opportunities that we have that we're not necessarily pursuing, right? So I want people to understand that, that, you know, maybe we'll even have a list of those ones that we're not necessarily pursuing, but we will have available. Miriam, you have your hand up?
Yes, in some of the, I mean, in my history of working with, especially some network marketing companies and such things, some of them have pretty strict regulations built into their system that says that you can't be a part of other things, or else you are voiding your contract with them. In the vetting process, is this going to be looked into under also? Because I was in a situation at one point where and I had to make the decision which opportunity I wanted to be a part of. So in your vetting, or the group's vetting of different opportunities, is that going to be taken into consideration? Because it was a financial loss for me at that point.
Yeah,
because both cost to.
That's a great.
I'm just putting it out there that is a situation.
Yeah, and that is a great question, because we don't truly know. Like, we know that some companies have very strict regulations around that, but a lot of companies don't, right? You know what I mean? Like, I'll give an example of a company called World Financial Group, which is a financial type industry, and like they have very strict regulations on, you know, especially conflicts of interest and stuff like that, right? But there's other companies that, you know, I know Amway was another one that they were, you know, at least they mentioned it quite a bit, you know, not to join other companies. But, you know, there's a lot of these companies that are just starting out that, you know, they haven't been around for many years, and they probably don't care at all. What they care about, and I can guarantee you what every company cares about, is that you don't come in, build a big group, and then take them all over to another group, right? That's what they're trying to avoid. They're that poison pill, so to speak, type of a person that comes in just to steal people to take them to another opportunity. Because what they're usually doing is literally taking them from there, moving them to the other one, and completely abandoning that one. You know, that's not what we're doing. We're potentially building two that maybe are in the same industry, but maybe they offer slightly different products or something like that, right? You know what I mean? So it's, you know, you think of health products, and you can think of vitamins, or you can think of an Enagic water ionizer. Well, those don't really compete with each other, even though they're both health products, right? You know what I mean? So it's, I think as long as we're doing it for the right reasons, I don't think we have to worry as much. We might get that letter, phone call one day. Maybe it will happen. I don't know. It's kind of one of those ones we kind of have to play out.
Okay.
Shirley?
Where everything is so tenuous, and we've seen how companies come and go, even with the best intentions. I personally would be very leery to become involved in any company that prevented me from having multiple streams of income. And what you said, Brian, this is the whole goal of FMA, is to provide multiple streams of income. I think the days of relying on one source, two sources, to go on.
Yeah. I think that I think it's going to be, like, I don't think we have to worry about it so terribly much, but, you know, there will be companies that will be very strict on it, and maybe we just avoid those companies, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So this does kind of lead into this whole, you know, ideal business, and kind of how we're choosing these companies, how we're vetting them, stuff like that. You know, up till now, really, and truthfully, I've pretty much been the only one that's vetted these. We are going to get some other things in place on that leadership group. I obviously have a lot more time than a lot of other people, and there's a lot of people that are super busy right now. So rather than, you know, waiting for everybody to kind of not be busy, I just kind of went ahead with a few and kind of put together some criteria, what we're looking for. and kind of chose a couple. But here's some of the things that I'm definitely looking at, and the big picture is always, can everybody benefit, right? Like that's the most important thing. And when I say, can everybody win, can everybody profit, can everyone benefit, really what I mean is, I don't want to hear that, the first person in can make lots of money, but the people that come in later, all they have is a cost burden, and they are going to have a struggle to get their money back, or something along that lines, right? If there's any opportunities out there that look like that, we don't want them. Like that's the number one criteria total, right? We don't want it. That doesn't mean that we say no to a business because it doesn't, it's not allowed in one jurisdiction. But we might say, but if somebody could be a loser in it, then we're not going to do it, right? How long has the opportunity been around? And that's a double-edged sword. There's advantages on both sides of it, but if you get one that's been around for a long time, obviously that's a great sign that it's going to be around for a long time. It's not going to be a scam. If you get into something that on day one, you better know a little bit about it. Maybe you better know people involved with it, or maybe you should know something more, or maybe it's a industry disruptor. Maybe it's something that's just completely changes things, and they're new, but you're like, hey, this might be the big thing, right? So we definitely look at all those types of criteria. I'm going to go through all of these just a little bit more, and then I'll answer your question, okay, Mike and Deb?
Yeah.
Are the CEO and ownership visible on a regular basis, right? We see too many, especially in the crypto world and stuff like that, where there is no CEO and it's just a smart contract or something like that, and you just don't hear from anybody. We're going to stay away from those types of things. Will the business make sense to the average person? I think this is a critical one too, because I don't want to get into a business that's trading NFTs when 90% of the people will have no idea what an NFT is. You know what I mean? It doesn't make sense. It has to make sense to the average person. Does the company do live events? You know what? That's just another feather in the cap, so to speak, to show that they're a legit business, putting on live events. What are the startup costs? Is it a high cost of entry that, it's going to take forever to get your money back? Think of it as maybe a product-based business or something like that. Is it, maybe it doesn't make sense if it's too much of a cost burden to get in. What are the ongoing costs, right? Is it something that you have to pay, $100 a month or something like that, and the average person just can't profit from it? It's just going to be a cost burden to them. We probably are going to stay away from those types of ones too, right? Do you give your money to the company, or do you keep it in your own account? That's always one. That's one of those high risk things, right? We were all involved with one where we gave them our money, and it's all given on good faith that you're going to get it back. And it doesn't always happen. And in fact, it's probably about a 99% chance that you're not going to get it back. That's how high risk that world is, right? Do they have a good business model, right? Is it a good business model, or is it just something that's, it's going to fall apart when the market changes or something like that? Does it work in a bull run in crypto, but it fails in a bear run in crypto, type of thing? Then maybe we won't get involved with that, right? How will regulations affect that business long term? Regulations are brutal when it comes to a lot of these, the Forex, the Bitcoin, it doesn't mean we're going to stay away from them. It just means, we're going to have that, we're going to understand the risks. We're going to maybe put on a high risk one, but we're going to have a lot more safe ones potentially, right? Is it available in all jurisdictions? That's something we got to at least weigh in on, right? It might make sense, it might not make sense, and then, if you have a couple of businesses in the same niche, you probably don't want to add a third one. Do you even want to do a second one? You might start to dilute our profitability if you give too many opportunities in the same niche, right? Like if we did 4 Forex businesses and somebody joins and they can only afford to get into one Forex business, now they'll never know which one to get into. And, it starts to take away from us building a big team in one. I'd rather have a big team in one than have a small team in 4, so to speak, right? You know, and I don't know if there's other factors that I haven't even thought of yet, but you know, it's kind of those questions that go through my mind when I'm thinking, you know, what's an ideal business? And you know, I kind of think of the best of the best. You know, if we have a good Forex play, you know, do we want to get another one? Probably not. You know, maybe we find another Forex play that's kind of a little bit different, and maybe we go for two, but you know, a third one, definitely not. Right? You know, so those are kind of some of the things that are going through my mind when I'm looking at ideal businesses, and you know, and how we can be, you know, how we can choose these ones to run with. So yeah, that's about it. So Mike, Deb, you had a question?
Just maybe I'm jumping ahead. I'm just trying to wrap my head around it. So so I've had friends that have been in investment clubs and groups before. I've never joined one, but I know some guys that have been in like an investment club in my hometown for like 30 some years. And I know most of the guys in it, and they do similar to what you're saying, I think, from what they've told me, and I've never been in. But I'm just wondering, is this like the vehicle or is this the business? Is this group the vehicle to bring in other opportunities, and we can or don't have to join the opportunities that are brought forward to us? I'm just trying to wrap my head around right now. What is this group?
Yeah,
kind of a definition of it, I guess. I'm just curious.
yeah, good question, because really it's a group of people helping people, sharing, working together, really in finding those opportunities. So when you think of that investment club scenario that you just kind of talked about, it is kind of like that. You know, right now our focus is on the network marketing world, right? It is, that's where our focus is. As we start to build, as we start to grow, that's going to expand. You know, maybe we will get into great investment opportunities. Maybe we'll get into precious metals. Maybe we'll get into real estate. Like, who knows? Like, it, you know, as we grow and as we're profitable, you know, the world's our oyster, so to speak. We can really start to look at different options, right? So I want to think of it that way. But I think you're right that this is a little bit more of the vehicle. This is where we work together, we look at opportunities, and then we join those opportunities. So this is the path to that, but it's also the path to, if you think about, okay, people that have joined this group now. So if you were to go out, let's just say you joined one of the opportunities that we're going to show over the next couple of weeks, and you wanted to start growing that particular business. Now you have the opportunity of doing one of two different things. Really, you could go and focus on that business and share it on Facebook, talk to your friends, you know, different things, making phone calls, whatever you do of that opportunity, and grow that opportunity, and then bring them into FMA potentially, and just kind of say, hey, if you like this, you might like this group, come join this group. Or you could do it the other direction. You could actually say, hey guys, I've joined this group. I think you'd really love it. Why don't you get into this group? You get them into the group. They see the opportunities. They find one that speaks to them, and they choose the path that they want to take. And now you help them facilitate that path, so to speak, and help them be successful in that path. So I think that's probably the stronger path to success, bringing people into this group, plugging them into the group, and you know, giving them access to different opportunities, and you know, letting them bring people into this group, and potentially doing that too, right? I think that's where I think that's really where we'll have more success. Did that answer the question?
I think so. Yeah. I'm sure as the information comes in, it's all the picture in my head's gonna get clearer and clearer. I'm just, yeah, that was just a curiosity more than anything else.
Yeah.
It's not concern or anything. It's just, I'm trying to define what we're doing here.
Yeah.
So if Mike finds an opportunity and he brings it to this group, there's 50 network marketers that will sign under Mike if they like your opportunity, Mike.
So
Potentially.
we all become the CEO of our own businesses,
Right.
basically, like where we can either choose to sign up
Or not.
under someone's business and build a business or present the business. And then everyone signs up as a sponsor under us. So we're kind of creating lots of different avenues and different choices.
Yeah, and think of it this way: if you brought, let's just say you brought 10 people into this group and you started sharing this group, that you believe in this group, you think we got a great thing going and you should get in here type of thing, and people join. And they come into this group and they see a list of our opportunities and they start watching some videos. Well, maybe one guy joins a crypto play, maybe one guy joins a Forex play, maybe one guy joins a product business, a health product or something like that, and maybe people are choosing different paths, but now they see the value in this group because they were able to look at the opportunities, pick the one that was best for them, and they start inviting people in. You know what I mean? Like your team could grow exponentially very fast. And this is just like network marketing, this group, because you're going to get out of it what you put into it. There's no doubt about it, right? If you bring in 20 people, you're going to have success in this group. And especially if you can get them plugged in enough that they see the value of the group and they feel comfortable in doing the same thing, right? But you did nail it, Chris, that you bring somebody in, or you bring an opportunity in, and it starts to grow and more people join, and maybe one person joins 3 opportunities, and now you've got a person that's on your team 3 times in 3 different opportunities. You know what I mean? Like you can have potentially things growing everywhere, right? And I did talk about trying to put our focus more in one place, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit more, but this group, you really just want to get plugged in and get people plugged in to be a little bit proactive and really seek out the opportunities. And I think that's kind of how I envision this group originally, is if you're joining this group, you're looking for opportunity. You're looking for potential business opportunity. You're looking to earn money. You're looking to change your life potentially, whatever it might be. If you're coming in and you have no intention of plugging in, and you have no intention of jumping on an opportunity, you're probably not going to get a whole lot of value out of it, right?
Brian, can I ask you a couple questions?
Yeah.
Okay, just so that I have a clear understanding then. So I thought I heard you say that somebody that's in the group can sort of pick and choose which investment opportunity they follow. They don't have to follow them all. They can choose whichever one. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the second aspect, so if we interest somebody we know in, like, it's whether it's a technology or Bitcoin or FX or whatever that opportunity is, and we're saying that or a mineral play, we are investing with this group, come join. How does that profit me? Like I don't see how bringing them in is a benefit to anybody in the group, because now you've just got a larger pool, but how does that give me a direct benefit?
So obviously, if somebody comes in, so you bring in somebody, that somebody comes in and they look at the opportunities and they see one that they really love, you are always going to get the right of first refusal, so to speak. They're going to go to you as their sponsor and say, hey, I would like to join this opportunity. Are you in it or are you not? Right. So now if you're not in it, well, you could join it and have your first sign up literally the same day. So now you're starting with a position of strength, so to speak, right?
So what does a sign up represent? Okay, it means that somebody that you talk to would like to invest, let's just say $10,000 into a mineral extraction opportunity, let's just say, because maybe that's one of the many opportunities that we have. So they bring in and they want to invest $10,000. Great. So I guess my understanding is then this is pooled into the money of that particular investment vertical, right?
That's
And
not
then,
really what we're doing though right now.
okay.
We're really the opportunities right now are strictly network marketing opportunities.
Okay.
So anybody that signs up for anything would be signing up as a direct referral to you in that opportunity.
Okay. And how is the money made?
just like any other network marketing type of a company, right? So
What's the product?
that depends, you know, if it was a Forex play, let's say it looked similar to what CFX looked like. Well, let's just say P2C, you know, and somebody joins P2C under you, you understand a little bit of how that would work, right? You would receive maybe your referral commission. They would join. Now, if the trading's available on that one, now maybe you're making profit off of their trading. You know what I mean? So just like any other network marketing
Some
type
kind of an
opportunity.
override by having that person involved. Okay.
Yeah, and let's say it was a product-based business, and that person was buying product. Well, you're going to receive money from that company based on, you know, a commission because they bought a product and stuff like that. So it really depends on the business. Everything's different, right?
Okay, thank you
can
for
I
that
just,
clarification.
yeah, I just wanted to add something to that effect. I feel as though what George was asking was, how are you going to make money if you're not into it? Right? And so you won't, if you bring somebody in and are not into that opportunity, well, then then I guess that's when it feeds up to your next upline sponsor for that person to join up, right? Otherwise, unless you're in it, George, you're not going to make any money. That's basically it.
Yeah.
So because there could be 6 different business opportunities that are in this group right now. If you're only in 2 of them and somebody's interested in the 3rd or the 4th and you're not into it, well, you're not. But that's the freedom of being open to this mastery alliance. It gives everybody the opportunity to choose whatever we have engaged as the list of opportunity benefits.
Yeah, and that's a good
Right.
way of putting it. Yeah, and it's, you know, and think about it this way. You never know, that person that you brought in that maybe was going into a product-based business that maybe you didn't really have that much interest in. What happens if they're a rock star? What happens if they go and refer 50 people? You know, you could potentially be passing that entire profit center, right? So it's something you need to, you know, definitely consider, right? You know, if you pass by an opportunity and pass that person up, it doesn't change that they are still your contact, your prospect, your teammate for other opportunities. They don't bypass you on every opportunity, you know, if they decide to join another one later. But if you said no to that particular one, you say no to that particular one, and you could lose out huge. Maybe, I don't know. We don't know. Maybe they only buy one product every 12 months and you're not missing anything.
So Ryan, this group is, you know, you had mentioned potentially 1,000 people, like quite quickly. And I see that, you know, how that could work. 3 people each type thing, but we're never going to get a check from FMA though. This is a group of like-minded people that will share with, and the uplines, the only thing that has to do with is to have some structure to it. If we were to join X company network marketing, we would use that hierarchy. But FMA is just a bunch of like-minded people bringing opportunities to each other, but nobody's ever going to get a check from FMA, right?
You are correct, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And you know, it's really I'm going to be jumping into the, you know, how you benefit here right away. So unless there's any other questions right now, maybe I'll just start jumping into that. Okay, so you know, I'll just very, very briefly talk about, you know, current opportunities. So you know, P2C is still kind of considered one of our opportunities. We obviously need to see it play out before we are 100% behind it. But I personally don't think just the marketing bundle is what I would want. I signed up originally for Forex trading, so that's what I want to see before I start building that business, is Forex trading, right? So that's me anyways. Some people might feel different. I have been looking at, actually I have joined a Forex crowdfunding model, which is very interesting, and they got a really big announcement coming up here tomorrow, I think it is, or maybe Thursday. where they're kind of changing their model, which I'm excited to find out more about so I can share that with everybody. I have actually joined a crypto trading bot that I'm just over the world excited about. It has 100% win rate. It's crazy. It's so good. Got a low cost health product that I really believe in that really meets a lot of the criteria. It's a zero cost of entry and has phenomenal products that are really potentially life-changing products, which I really love. You know, we have a high ticket health product. You know, this is a longer term play. This is not something I would want anybody to necessarily join today, but you know, in 2, 3, 4, 5 years, whatever it takes us to become a profitable, you know, very profitable, I would want everybody to get involved with this company because it's amazing. It's such an amazing product. You know, I am in talks with some other people on different opportunities, and you know, we'll probably be picking 1 or 2 of them and sharing those also. So we do have a lot that we are you know, starting to look at, and just to think outside the box here for a second. Imagine we built this group to 1,000 people. Some, you know, people are going to get word of that, and they're going to be reaching out to us, and they're going to be like, we've got this new play that's going to launch tomorrow or launch next week or next year, whatever. We want to introduce it to your group first because you have 1,000 people. We could have 1,000 people in on day one. They will cater to a group that large like you can't imagine. So think of the opportunities that can open up as we build this group. Like, we're going to get some exclusive opportunities. I can guarantee that. I can guarantee that. You know, and obviously I've kind of talked about this, is you guys have the ability to share opportunities, and it is going to be, it is a Google Doc form that I'll give you guys the link to a little bit later on. So really now, how does everybody profit here, right? How does everybody profit? So as number one, I just kind of mentioned this, you know, we just had this conversation. You need to plug in. You know, if you're just going to join this group and, you know, check the messages once every month, you're not going to get any benefit from this group, right? You need to plug in. You need to be part of regular Zooms. We're going to start doing some regular Zooms here. You know, you need to get involved. You need to share the opportunity. You need to get other people on these Zooms, especially when we got opportunity Zooms, you know, because even if you didn't have interest in that, if you had 3 people that had interest in it, you would suddenly have interest in it, right? You know what I mean? It's amazing how that works. You know, I would say everybody here should really, as we show these opportunities, you know, you should find the one that speaks to you, at least one, and just go with it, right? And start doing something with it. You know, we've been dying to build a business for how long, you know, waiting for CFX. We're all dying to build a business. So I think this is something that everybody really wants. You know, and then I kind of talked about this already, you know, choosing how you want to share things, you know, whether you want to share the group, get people into the group and let them see the opportunities, or whether you want to share the opportunity, say, oh, by the way, we also have this group, and then bring them into the group. You know, there's different ways of doing that, right? So you have to decide on what works best for you. And obviously we can share that, you know, who is having success and how they're having success to the group, so other people can try it, right? And the whole idea is to really lean on the group. You know what I mean? Like, lean on your upline to really plug in and ask the questions and get involved and help each other and everything like that. So now the benefits to you, to person that starts day one, let's say, you know, number one, you're getting access to pre-vetted businesses. So if anybody actually is out there looking at opportunities all the time, you know, there's 2 a day. Every single day there's 2 brand new things. I swear, there's so many businesses that pop up. You're going to be spinning your wheels looking at all of them. And you know, if you haven't looked at many, you're going to get into the wrong ones. I can guarantee you. If you've looked at a million of them, you start to know what to watch for. You know what I mean? So it's really, there's a lot of value to having some pre-vetted businesses, right? You know, and here's something that's actually really cool. So I like the idea that, you know, if somebody was to join 4 businesses and this group didn't exist, you'd have 4 different businesses, you'd have 4 different uplines, you know, they would be competing almost for your business, and they'd tell you to spend more time here and money here and avoid that one. And you know what I mean? And they might be giving you different advice and, you know, different instructions, and you know, to have all of it kind of come into one group and you kind of always have the same line of sponsorship, there's so much value there. If you really think about it, you can go to that person to ask any question and they're not going to judge that you're in another business because they're in another business with you. They're, you know, you're in it together, you're helping each other, you know, so there's a lot of value, especially as you build that trust, you know, with that team and with this group, you know, because that's really what we want to do is we want to build that trust and work together on these, right? You know, I've already kind of said that this is not the normal, this group where everybody can profit and everybody, you know, can bring in somebody and everybody has the ability to succeed, so to speak, right? And you know, because like I said, most of those businesses are one person at the top bringing in 100 referrals, and they don't care if they're stealing that referral from you because now they signed up under you and sucks being them type of thing. And there's so many out there. I'm a member of 2 groups like that right now, that they are looking at multiple streams of income and all they do is share that one and share the referral link. And there's 100 people in that group that are, some get in and some don't, right? There's no value to anybody else in that group except for that person that's leading it, really. You know, like I said, it's really about people helping people. You know, the fact that this is going, you know, like I said, by adhering to these rules, we're creating a safe place to bring in prospects. And when you bring in a prospect and plug them in to what we're trying to build here, now you have potentially the group building for you, if you really think about that, you know, right? If you just bring somebody in and you plug them in and say, hey man, you got to check out these opportunities, and they plug in and they check out these opportunities and they find one they love and they start asking questions about it, you know, the group just basically turned that prospect into a teammate for you, you know, without you having to do a whole lot, right? And that's really the goal that I see with this is I want to be able to do that for everybody, right? You know, and imagine if that guy comes in and he says, geez, there's 3 different things that really speak to me. I think I'm going to join all 3. Like, you just brought in somebody to maybe join one of your businesses, and now suddenly you have 3 businesses and you're making money potentially 3 different places. And he gets plugged in and he starts bringing in people. Now he's growing and he's, you know what I mean? And your team's just growing. So it's just so powerful, in my opinion. You know, when I started talking about, you know, some of my ideas to the leadership group, you know, it was some of the ideas that were spouted out, you know, like one guy, he does click funnels. He was talking about how he could create funnels and build an app. And, you know, we could have potentially an app that we show people and they can sign up there and all sort, like, just, these are ideas, like these are, you know, a long ways out, but, you know, there's some real amazing possibilities of things that we can do with the right people, eh? And I talked about the ability for you to share an opportunity that you believe in, and really I'll dig into that here a little bit now. So, and by the way, if anybody feels that they want to be part of the leadership team, you are welcome 100%. Like, if you feel you can contribute and you want to have a voice and you want to be part of it and you have some extra time, I totally welcome it. We love to have everybody on that leadership group, right? Because and it really helps steer things. So sharing opportunities, I do have a Google Doc form. It's just a link. I will put that in the chat tonight after this Zoom, and anybody can fill out that Google Doc form. There's not much to it, just kind of asks, you know, like if you've already been in it, if you're already in it, or if you're not, you know, talk about it, kind of rank it on where you think it is, if it fits the criteria that I've talked about and stuff like that. You know, share your thoughts on it, maybe talk about your upline, different things like that. So that's about all that's really in it. And honestly, I would be just as happy hearing about the bad ones. You know, if you've looked at an opportunity and it just screamed out scam to you, tell me about it so I don't have to waste my time. You know, if somebody brings that one to me, I'd love to hear it, right? So one of the other ideas that kind of came out of that leadership group is, you know, this people helping people idea is, you know, we're not going to choose all of these businesses. You know, we're only going to run with so many businesses. But just because we're only running with so many businesses doesn't mean we can't still help each other in the other businesses, if that makes sense. So here's a good example. I know a couple people that are in ClickFunnels. You know, ClickFunnels as a business model isn't necessarily the most beneficial, but you know, if somebody said, well, I really have interest in getting into ClickFunnels so I can create my own funnels, so I can learn all of this marketing stuff, you know, to be able to send them to somebody that is already good at ClickFunnels. And, you know, if somebody came to me and says, hey, can I sign up under you? And I'd say, you know what, I don't have interest in ClickFunnels. Why don't you sign up under this person? They'll help you out in it. They'll get some benefits from it. They'll get a little bit, you know, so, you know, we still want to be able to help each other in those types of scenarios, right? Even if it isn't a business that's considered a business that we're going to run with, right? And we'll still follow the lines of sponsorship for that. So that's still critical, and have that communication, right? I want to have that. And that's really about it. The only other thing I really want to share before we really dig into the Q&A is we do have a website. I have secured a domain. It is financialmasteryalliance.com. Right now, there is absolutely nothing on that page. It'll be a dead link probably. I'm thinking I might even put this video or a similar video that introduces the group on that homepage. So maybe at some point we can send people there and they can kind of see what the group is about before, and then they can request to join or something like that. You know, we can do other things in there. We can create some of the funnels and different things like that. But what we would probably do, or what we will definitely do, is we wouldn't have referral links anywhere in there. So it would just be a get back to the person that invited you here type of scenario. But that's probably how we'll run with these opportunities as we get them, is one of the things that we're definitely talking about now. You know, and we'll see how that evolves. You know, maybe we'll have a separate member area. Maybe we'll have, you know, I don't know what it's going to look like. So we'll decide things as we go. So that is it. I do want to answer some of the Q&A that people asked on the registration forms. So Murray had asked, who are the leaders involved with Financial Mastery Alliance? So that is myself, Jacques Robert, Becky Gabbard, Courtney Hunt, Aaron Shute, Jeremy Daniel, Danielle Kay, Tina Dodson, James Rose, and Rob Hanrider. So a lot of you guys will know at least one of them. So Jacques kind of asked a similar question. He said, who are the registered administrators? I'm assuming you mean of the FMA group who is considered an admin. Is that what you mean? It's the exact same people. It's the exact same camp, okay? Shirley, I would like to discuss lineage beyond what Ryan discussed. And what about any other network groups we might be involved with? I think we probably answered it, did we?
Yeah.
Okay. Miriam, will this work if you are not a social media fan? So I guess it depends on what you mean. Will this work? If you have no interest in ever getting into Telegram, it'll probably not work because you really need to plug into this group. Do you need to share it on social media on Facebook? No. Do you know, I know what you're like. You love to get on a phone call and talk to somebody in person. You know what I mean? So that's one way of sharing it if that's what you're talking about. It depends on what I don't know if that answers your question or not, but that answer your question, Mira?
Yeah, I just, you know, I don't feel like getting like swamped again in like doing massive ad campaigns and that kind of stuff. I mean, I know that's, I mean, you have to literally swamp most of these social media networks to, you know, otherwise you're just what do they say, cricket? Yeah. Cricket in the night. And I'm I'm like, just the idea of it just makes me want to throw up. So no, and I also, you know, if I sort of have this little bit of a feeling of, um, in the way of network marketing, um, you know, I was really involved for a long time with companies, and I got so turned off the idea that we were offering a business in your own home when you're actually offering a business in everybody in someone else's home. You didn't have an in-home business, you had an in everyone else's home business, or in a hotel room business. And I thought it was really like, whoa, this is not, there's something against my integrity about even offering an in-home business like that.
You know,
So
you need to share how it speaks to you, right? And
yeah,
unfortunately, how so many people are taught in network marketing is so brutal. And because of that, it turns so many people off. You know, like I can think of people that have said, you know, you got to call 10 people a day. You know what I mean? And it's like, you know, stab me in the eye with a freaking spoon, right? Like, it's
yeah.
just, I have no interest in doing
Or
that, right?
or why don't you come over for dinner? And then you and then you're actually just luring them into your home to pounce
Exactly.
on them. And I'm like, gross,
If
gross.
you're trying to do that, you're not doing it, you know, in your own integrity, right?
Yeah.
So
And I don't
one of
want
the
to have
things that
people cross the street.
one of the things I've learned and how I managed to have some success in CFX really was the fact that I just shared what excited me. You know what I mean? I never ever asked anybody to join. I just shared, and you know what I mean? And I was like, oh man, I just can't believe this. I retired. I was able to quit my job. Well, you know, you do a post like that, and the next thing you know, you got people reaching out to you, right? It's because they want that for themselves. And when you share about yourself and don't share about, hey, you should do this, share it was I chose to do this, and this is the best decision I ever made. You're gonna attract people and people are gonna reach out to you. You know what I mean? So it's all about doing it, you know, finding that way of doing it. And it took me a while to find that way because I was just like you. It just did not interest me having to do what people said you had to do to be successful at network marketing. Right.
Okay. Answered.
Okay, cool. Becky has probably the best question here, and it is, when will I be a millionaire? The answer is soon. Soon in CFX time. Debbie, you had kind of asked cost and uplines. I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that. Could you elaborate?
Well, the uplines you answered by
Okay.
Courtney would be mine and then you.
Yeah.
Cost was, you know, like, I didn't know if it was like each opportunity is going to have their own cost for us to join, or it's a $500 thing and we're in whatever. So I was just kind of,
Yeah, everything would have its
wondering.
own cost potentially to join. Like I said, so when you look at the criteria we're looking for, we're really looking at the success of the person just starting. You know what I mean? We don't want it to be a cost burden. You know, especially if you're looking at multiple businesses. It just it'd be the craziest thing in the world to get involved with 5 businesses that all cost you $99 a month. Like, you'd be
no, I
it'd
don't want
take
to do that.
forever for you to be profitable, right? We don't want that. We're looking at, and you'll see that as we start to do some of these business opportunity Zooms. You know, we're going to really lay out, you know, why we feel this one is a good one. And, you know, maybe it's going to be because it is a zero cost of entry, or maybe it is if it's a product based, maybe it's like you only have to order once every 6 months, or, you know what I mean? Or something like that, that kind of keeps you active. You know, and nobody wants to join a business where you got to spend $1,000 a month. That's for sure. Right. You'll never get anybody else to sign up, so I don't expect you to. So.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Dennis, actually, I don't think Dennis is on, but he had a question. He said, the main questions I have are, how do we submit a project for consideration? So I have kind of talked about that on the Google Doc form, which I will share. And I will share that in the chat, by the way. And how are submitted programs vetted? So I did kind of talk about that. Right now, it's just mostly been myself But we're going to have to figure out a solution to that a little bit better. And actually, Tina, I'll be talking to you a lot more about that too. Okay. And Russell, does every opportunity have to be open to both US and Canadian citizens? You know, that's a good question. I don't know that answer. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe we look at it case by case. You know, because one of the ones that I really like in a back doorway isn't really available in the US, but it could be depending on how you do things, right? So it's yeah, that's a good question. It's a really good question that we need to figure out. You know, and if we get a group that is, you know, 99% Canadian, you know, maybe that answer is it has to be Canadian, right? If we get a group that's 99% American, well, maybe that has to be, you know. So I don't know. We'll cross that bridge as we get to it for sure.
Yeah, and I can just tell you, it kind of like the fear of missing out, being a US, and you know, and I saw a message from you saying how you're falling in love with this one business that we can't be a part of. So I'm like, la 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 la, you know.
Well, and you know, obviously we'll take that offline maybe a little bit in conversations of you know, maybe ways of getting around it, but it's, you know, I don't know. I don't know. It's tough to say. That at some point that's coming to an end for Canadians too, so it doesn't really matter. It might end up becoming a dud.
We have like a pre-presentation of each opportunity before we have the Zoom, like if it's just for a United States opportunity or just for Canada. And so you can preview it. So if you're not in the right country, you know, you don't have to go to the Zoom.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And that's maybe what we'll do when we post the first business opportunity Zoom. We will give some description to it, and you know, and maybe even share in a post, you know, what we maybe even in the Zoom link, you know, what we feel, why it meets the criteria, and you know, or maybe certain things like that, like maybe certain people can't sign up for it or whatever. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. We'll make sure that that's part of the verbiage or a video, whichever it is, before we send out that Zoom link. Yeah, great idea. Other questions, I see some in the chat here I haven't looked at. So what if our sponsor doesn't join? So, you know, good point. If your sponsor, you know, if you actually talk to them and they say they don't want to join, then your sponsor is the next person up, right? If they just haven't joined yet, you know, maybe that's a different story, but we should be trying to get them in. Is it okay? Yeah. Is it the next person above them? Yes. Will there be minimum money required to join opportunities? Is it going to be dependent on each opportunity? Dependent on each opportunity, but bringing someone in may only benefit the individual and not the person that brought them in. Is all network marketing? Yes, exactly. Okay. Has a group mission statement been created yet? Yeah, I think to a certain extent, if you look on the chat, the Financial Mastery Alliance group, and you click on the group, I've put a little thing in there, and it was basically what I had read out. I'm trying to think of it. Financial Mastery Alliance is a unified team, united in their goal to achieve financial freedom for everyone, I think is what I had kind of said. So really that is our stated goal, our stated mission. We want everybody to achieve financial freedom. 100%. I have to jump off. Okay, so that's it there. Anybody have any other questions before we wrap this up? We kind of answered them along the way, so I think we're pretty good there. Okay, well, I'm going to stop the recording then.